we're back in the studio now with Brad and Melissa. We're going to find out a lot about what's going on with all this construction, and My Erickson is up and running. So let's find out what they're doing. Yeah. Who wants to start?
Good morning. How are you?
Fine.
Yeah,
Good
great. Well, we currently have some renovations, going on. So
just
Melissa,
a few.
Yeah, Melissa, if you want to cover that.
Yeah, just a few. So Village Square is well underway with lots of transformation going on the terrace level. We've got our 2 offices have been built out for the relocation of our 2 individuals there at Village Square that'll be relocating downstairs. Our resident services coordinator as well as our resident services activities leaders are going to be relocated down there. We hope to have it completed by the time the players have their first play of the year, so that terrace level should be completed by mid-May before they actually have their first play in the theater. And then we'll move upstairs to the lobby area and start our work there. So more to come, but a lot of activity going on the terrace level.
What is going to happen since I live in that area, what's happening in the lobby area?
So in the lobby area, we're doing a refresh. So we're putting new carpet, new paint, new furniture, fixtures. We're redoing the restrooms, both the men's and women's restrooms on that level, as well as doing a refresh in Woodland Skies with new furniture, new paint, and carpet in there as well.
Okay. I had heard an ugly rumor that something was going to happen to the fireplace.
No. Well, the fireplace will remain. And the only thing we're doing is putting a little bit we're painting the inside of it because it needs to be painted. And then we're just putting, I'm going to say, like a decorative motif, if you will, around the fireplace itself. We're not covering up the brick and everything is staying. There's going to be a new picture there. But the fireplace is staying for sure.
That's good. I appreciate that.
No problem.
A decorative motif.
That's my new word.
Okay.
That's the only thing that could come to mind for me this morning. I see it in my head, but I said decorative motif.
That sounds lovely.
Thank you. Stop by and see me, and I can show you what it looks like.
Okay.
And as far as town center, goes, we still haven't gotten final permits.
Oh, dear.
And actually, that ends up being a good thing because we've not gotten the final permits for the kitchen in the fireside yet either. So once, I have a feeling, I'm guardedly optimistic that it's all going to happen as it should, that the kitchen renovations will be complete so that when we close the cafe, we can then serve, lunch and dinner out of the fireside. So I think it's a blessing in disguise. But I know we want to all see, action happening. We met with the construction team. They're great. We really enjoyed, meeting them and having conversation with them about the future. And so one of the things that, we'll see coming here in the near future is they'll start to put some fencing up, around that courtyard. And so it'll be strategically around just the area that they're going to, do construction in, which will allow people to, residents to still go, in and out for now. But then also, as you go to Garden Ridge from the Aquatic Center and up that path underneath the bridge, they'll have, a little fenced-in area there as well for an office and that sort of thing. So that's all going to be coming, here in the next, few weeks, and hopefully work will start in the month of April. But it still may be, first week of May before we actually see a hammer go into the wall.
We can just get Fairfax County underway. Huh?
I tell you, it's a challenge, but like
I
said, I think it is all working out, for a reason. So
good.
Yeah. It is good.
Good. So, what else?
Well, do you want to talk about?
So, My Erickson. So, it's really an exciting time for us here at Greenspring. On Friday, I had the privilege of activating about 15 resident accounts, and those resident accounts, if you will, are our resident trainers. So they're going first, our early adopters, to get used to the application and what's underneath what I would say each of the icons and what My Erickson has to offer, so that when we go live with the other residents towards the latter part of April and May, they'll be available to train our residents or to answer any questions that they might have. So they were very excited. to see it and to get some opportunity to play around, if you will, and learn how to maneuver around in the application. I would encourage any resident at this point in time who wants to gain access to My Erickson to go ahead and download the app and sign in as a guest. When you sign in as a guest, you get limited access to information, but Greenspring is live, and so our application is live, where in the past, if you downloaded the app and you went to guest and you hit Greenspring, there was nothing there. It said we're under construction.
Right.
So we're continuing to build out the application. There's not an excessive amount of detail there just yet. We still have some work to do by each of the departments, but we're making great progress, and I got great feedback over the weekend from the trainers who were accessing it. And I will put in a plug for this. Many of you know that the scroll is under construction. It's being redesigned slightly, but that coordinates with the design of My Erickson and how we are able to pull information over from Touchtown to be used on the scroll or to just be used on My Erickson. So we are heeding the feedback that we've gotten from many residents about the look of the slides, and perhaps too many slides at this point in time. So our team is working diligently to address those issues and concerns and make changes as we need to moving forward.
The biggest thing I have heard about them is that there's no contact listed. And people are used to that, to
Correct.
be able to call someone and find out more information
Correct.
directly. Yeah.
So we're adding that. We also are looking at the visibility, the visually, can you see the letters, the font, the size, the color, the background, all of those things. So
Right.
it's a new team helping to support creation of the various slides. And we had a feedback session last week. We'll do some more training this week and in the coming weeks. But I appreciate everyone's patience as we kind of redesign ourselves.
That's great. That's great. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then I did want to just touch on Welcome Home. And so the Welcome
Tell
Home.
us about this Welcome Home.
Yeah, so the Welcome Home program is during the sales process. At the time of take keys, a representative from Resident Life will then introduce themselves at that take keys appointment, walk to the apartment, show new residents things in the apartment, make sure they get to dinner that first couple nights, be there on move day, and then do a proper handoff to the resident greeter group. So right now we're communicating with the greeters. Matter of fact, they're doing training today just to talk about that handoff, and because that's so important, that resident to resident interaction at a new move, because as you are well aware, when you transition to a community like this, it's a little overwhelming with what activities and what kinds of things can I get involved in, and where am I going to have dinner, and so we've just added in a step between the sales process ending and a resident to resident interaction. We've just added a component of having a resident life person just kind of walk them through that first 5 to 7 days to make sure that their transition here is successful. And so I expect great things, and I think this will be a great handoff to the resident greeter.
That's great.
Group. So yeah,
make people really feel that they are home now.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
so,
great.
And things like if someone's a pet owner, for example, and we've experienced a number of concerns around
Yes.
pets being in the common areas and pets not being picked up after, and so this will just once again have a resident life representative kind of talking through that with new pet owners or new residents to the community who own pets, because we're always on top of that and wanting to make sure that people know the rules. So that's one example of a benefit from having the Welcome Home
And
representative.
sometimes that needs to be done maybe a week after they've moved in, because that first week, it's, I've got these boxes to unpack. I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And it just doesn't sink in.
Right.
I know I've had people been here a month and say, how do I clean the filter and the washer?
Exactly.
Well, it's been covered.
Right.
But it's just one of those things that just went by.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, so things are moving along.
things are always moving along.
Always moving along. About 2 weeks ago, I think it was now, we had the ribbon cutting at Dogwood Commons.
Right.
We have moved several residents into all of the units, and they've transitioned successfully.
Good.
But we had a fabulous ribbon cutting ceremony over
heard.
there. We had about 5 or 6 legislative officials that came,
Wonderful.
or their aide came to be a part of the session, and Will Nance was actually here as well. So we had a great afternoon, and
That's
everybody
wonderful.
was just in awe of Dogwood Commons.
That's
So we're
wonderful.
excited about
That's
that.
wonderful.
We know how to throw a good party. That's one thing we do really well.
Yes, we do. Okay. Thank you so much for bringing us up to date. And I'm sure if anybody has questions, they can come see you.
They can always come see us.
Always.
My door's
Okay.
open.
Very good.